The Storyteller. A scene from Brianna and the Three. Copyright 2018, Michael P. Dunn. And of course, you'll have to face the three. I stared for a moment, then asked, "The three what?" I hoped the explanations made more sense than the previous statement. I twisted a lock of blonde hair around a finger and waited for the answer. Around us, the other patrons in the crowded dining room were oblivious to us, more concerned with their own lives. Seeing all the patrons enjoying their meals, combined with the various aromas wafting through the dining room, reminded me that I hadn't eaten yet. But I ignored my growing hunger and focused on my meeting. The man sitting across from me squirmed, as if trying to settle his large frame onto the chair. To say he was overweight would have been an understatement. Corpulent would have been a better word. I was surprised the chair could support his weight. Oh, stop it, Brianna. He was dripping with sweat despite the restaurant's air conditioning. His thinning hair was pasted to his scalp, and his expensive suit was soaked. The odor, a mixture of cologne and perspiration, was beginning to pass the point that I could ignore it. His heavy, labored breathing didn't sound healthy. None of that seemed to matter to him. Then again, when you're Russell Blanco, third richest man on the face of the earth, you can afford to not care what people think of you and your appearance. A thin smile crossed his doughy face. "That is the problem," he said between heavy breaths. "All I know is that Alice is being held on Lol Theta and is being guarded by the three. The actual source of the name is the mythology of the Takeshran people native to Lol Theta. Some kind of ancient class of warriors, I believe. Does it matter?" I took a long drink from my glass of mineral water and looked around the dining room. It's always good to have as much intelligence as possible before tackling a new situation. "Why did you pick such a public place for this meeting? I would have thought you'd rather conduct business in a more private setting." Blanco waited almost a full minute before he answered, as if he were trying to come up with a plausible answer. "Under other circumstances, I would prefer more secure surroundings. Unfortunately, my office is no longer a secure location, and I'm not sure about my house. Enough has gone wrong. I don't want to make the situation worse." I didn't mention that he could have come to Heaven's Gate and met me there. Logical. With all the ambient noise, we should be sufficiently masked. Still, never hurts to check. "Excuse me a moment." I turned to one side and said, "Parsifal?" There was a tingling sensation across the back of my head, accompanied by a soft male voice. "Yes, Archangel." Scanned the building. Any sign of monitoring? My AI was silent for a moment. "Scan complete. I'm detecting no sign of surveillance beyond the restaurant's security system. You're clear." "Thank you." "Parsifal says we have nothing to worry about, Mr. Blanco." He looked confused. "I've never understood how you Archangels do that." I patted the back of my head. "It's called a Neuralink. It's a communications array linked to my brain. It allows direct private communication with RAIs." "Privacy on one side." I smiled and nodded. "I have ways of ensuring private communication when necessary." "Oh? How would you do that?" I tugged at the collar of my uniform jumpsuit and took another drink of water. Was he trying to steer the conversation away from the assignment? That would be a topic for another day, Mr. Blanco. Back to the situation at hand. How long has your companion been missing? Blinko had contacted the hierarchy of the Angel Corps about the kidnapping of his companion, Alice Benson. The only contact with the kidnappers was a single transmission, too short to be traced. According to the transmission, she had been taken off the cruise ship she had been traveling on during its scheduled stop at Lol Theta. She would be held there until the ransom was paid, though no details were included. It also said that any attempt at rescue would fail because of the presence of the three. Since then, nothing. The Corps assigned me to the task of rescuing Ms. Benton and bringing the kidnappers to justice. Rescues and retrievals have become something of a specialty of mine. Whenever there's a person that needs to be brought home, an heirloom or relic that has to be returned to its proper place, it comes to me. Kidnappings have always struck me as cowardly. The trauma it causes both the victim and the family can take years to overcome. Blinko drained his wine glass and sighed. Alice was taken 9 days ago. She went on a groundside excursion and didn't come back from it. Why weren't you with her? I had business to attend to. My many concerns don't take care of themselves. Any enemies? Anyone who would profit from this? Someone in my position always has enemies, Archangel Pandora. It's the nature of the business world. I looked down at the table and gathered my thoughts. As I took a business card from a compartment on my belt, I said, I have everything I need to get started, sir. That's my call code should anything come in overnight. I'll be leaving in the morning. You'll be able to contact me through Heaven's Gate after that. If there's nothing else... The card almost disappeared between his fingers. I do have a few more questions, if you don't mind. Where's your sword? I thought members of the Angel Corps always carried their swords. I reached for the place in my belt where my sword scabbard would be attached. I had left the sword in my car, feeling it would not be needed for this briefing. It's not mandatory. My sword is handy should I need it. In the past, when my great-grandmother was alive, most angels had to keep their swords with them at all times. You mentioned your great-grandmother. That would be Entendre Pandora? Wasn't my last name enough of a hint? Yes, I'm a scion of the family Pandora Crow. I decided to follow my family's tradition of service to the Corps. I pushed back from the table and stood before he could ask another question. I'll contact you when necessary, Mr. Blinko. I hope it will be soon, Archangel Pandora. After leaving the restaurant, I wandered through Ottawa's downtown district. There was research I had to do, but I could put it off until morning. What I wanted right now was some companionship. I hate spending the night alone when I have the rails to arrange companionship. I walked down the city's main strip, hoping someone would catch my eye, wishing I had dressed a little more appropriate. My two-tone gray uniform jumpsuit did a good job at accenting my appearance. It just wasn't the best at attracting the kind of attention I was looking for. I was becoming discouraged. I didn't see anyone I wanted to get to know better. My own fault, really. I couldn't decide what I wanted to get me through the night. Male companion? Female companion? Both? It was starting to look like the answer would be neither. I stopped at a corner and waited for the traffic signal to change. I was thinking about another night spent alone when a hand touched my shoulder. And what are you in the mood for tonight, Angel? Oh, excuse me, Archangel. He was tall. He was as tall as me, about 188. Built like a gymnast. He wore his sandy blonde hair long just past his shoulders. His blue eyes were bright and active, darting around as if he were trying to watch the entire street. I decided at that moment what I was in the mood for. I'm looking for something quiet and intimate. He stepped close enough for me to smell his cologne. I happen to specialize in old-fashioned styles of pleasuring. I smiled. And that's just what I wanted to hear. What's your name? Travis Pierce. Travis, I think we can do business. My name's Brianna Pandora. I assume you're licensed? I have all my certificates with me, if you wish to examine them. Good. Now, if you'll excuse me a moment. Parsifal? I heard Parsifal's voice in the back of my mind. Yes, Archangel. Bring the car around, please. I have made plans for tonight. Confirm. Would you like me to inform Heaven's Gate that you'll be spending the night off base? Yes, thank you. I turned back to Travis. My car's on its way. By any chance, do you know the mythology of the Takeshran people native to Lol Theta? Well, mythology is an interest of mine. I could tell you about your last name if you'd like. However, I'm not familiar with the Takeshran people. Is it important? It's something I need for an assignment. Nothing my portable terminal can't give me in the morning. My car pulled up in front of us. I ushered Travis into the passenger seat and asked, how about we do the whole deal? All I've had tonight was a glass of mineral water. Do you have a favorite place, or shall we pick a spot at random? And that's the opening scene of Brianna and the Three. It is available on Amazon, print and ebook, as well as Nook. It's available through Smashwords, iTunes, and a whole lot of other places that you can find on my website, Word Boys Words. Link will be down below. If you're watching this and you like hearing me stumble through this, click the little subscribe button, click the bell. I'm trying to put up content with some kind of regularity. Thanks for watching, and remember, each of us is the hero of our own story and the villain of someone else's. Take care.